Megan O'Leary here. The UFC 132 press conference has just ended. I'm joined by Dana White. And Dana, I heard you talking in the scrum saying that you're going to Japan very soon. Can you give us any more details on that?
Yeah, that's what he was asking me for. He's like, I heard rumors that you're going to Japan. When are you going? We're planning on going there and going there soon.
All right. Last time we spoke to you was in Vancouver, and you said that Sam Stout's knockouts was one of the greatest knockouts in the UFC's history. Where would you put Cheick Kongo on there after Pittsburgh?
Yeah. His knockout of Yves Edwards was vicious. I mean, a vicious knockout, as vicious as you'll ever see. And I think that actually Kongo might have one-upped him. But the thing about the Kongo fight is it was such a dramatic fight because Kongo was about to go. He got dropped like 3 times, and then he ends up, knocking Barry out viciously. So, yeah, I mean, within the last 2 fights, we've had 2 great. That last card on Versus was incredible. It's one of the best cards I've ever been to from top to bottom. I mean, the prelims were awesome. The main card fights were awesome. It was a great night.
There was a lot of news coming out of Pittsburgh, but one of the things that got overshadowed was Charlie Brennaman's big win against Rick Story. Do you think he's really solidified his name as one of the up-and-coming welterweights that everybody should be watching?
Absolutely, and I don't want to take anything away from the kid. He went in there and he did it, but I actually, personally, I feel bad for Rick Story. You know, Rick Story got put in a horrible position. You know, this kid comes off a win over Thiago Alves, right? It's a huge win in the guy's career. We ask him to fight, and he jumps in and takes the fight because it's Nate Marquardt. You know, it's another big-name guy that he can knock off and get himself close to that title. He comes down. Nate Marquardt screws the kid and puts him in the situation that he puts him in. And the kid is a warrior. He steps up and he still fights, even though it's a lesser fight. I mean, anybody that knows anything about the fight business will tell you that's just such a it's just such a mind fuck for that kid to even, you know, the whole situation. So it sucks. I feel bad for Rick Story, and not to take anything away from Charlie, but you know, it is what it is.
Right, you've got a really talented welterweight division like we just talked about, but your lightweight division is stacked. We talked to Melvin Gillard, and he said he wanted a lightweight Grand Prix to see who the real #1 contender is, because it's like every time you have a contender, there's some sort of upset with Guida and Pettis or Soteropoulos and Seaver. Would you be open to that, having a lightweight Grand Prix? I
don't know. I've never thought of it. You know, I think that you don't need a Grand Prix. I mean, we've got it. I mean, the problem is right now there's a clog in the because these two are hurt. Once we can get Frankie Edgar and Maynard to fight, we can get the log jam out of the way there, and we can get some guys in there fighting for the title.
And we talked to Tito Ortiz yesterday, and he said he had to beg for his job with the UFC. Is that true? I mean, did he really have to say, keep me in this organization?
Yeah, I would never say that publicly or say anything like that. If that's what Tito said, then you know, it is what it is. Listen, Tito's been around for a long time, and he's going to get the chance to fight Bader on Saturday night, and we'll see what happens.
After that, if he loses, do you think he's out of the organization?
He's absolutely out if he loses.
All right, let's talk about Wanderlei, because he's been kind of having a rough patch with his last few fights over the past couple of years. You know, when Chuck Liddell was fighting, people were calling for him to hang it up when his last few fights. Do you think Wanderlei might be in that same position? Because if he loses, he'll have lost 6 of his last 8.
Right. We'll see how he fights, and we'll see how he wins or loses on Saturday night. And then, you know, ask me that question Saturday night.
Okay, I will. The main event is kind of historic for you guys. You know, 2 bantamweights headlining a pay-per-view card. You know, they came over from the WEC. How important is it for you as an organization to put these lighter weight guys on display so fans can see, you know, how the bantamweights and featherweights bring it?
Well, it's a big deal. I think it just shows how much the sport has grown, how much the UFC has grown. You know, for these guys finally to not only be in the UFC and fighting in the UFC, but headlining. You know, headlining a show over Tito, Wanderlei, Lieben. You know what I mean? They've come a long way, and they deserve it. They put on some incredibly entertaining fights over the last however many years, and they're finally getting their dues. I'm happy for them. I'm pumped for Saturday.
What do you think of that main event matchup? I mean, how do you predict the outcome?
I love the fight because these guys are so cocky, and so they both don't like each other. They both talk smack about each other. What Uriah said here at the thing today. Listen, we're you know, we're 2 alphas, and you know, we want to end this thing and find out who the real tough guy is and who isn't. I love that, and I just think it's going to be a fun fight.
All right, now I know you've been bombarded with questions about this, but Nate came out with a statement on Tuesday about his side of the story. Is that an accurate portrayal of the situation?
Well, yeah, I'd call it accurate. I'd call it a percentage of the story, but I'd call it accurate. And, you know, it's just, this is a really difficult situation for me. You know me. I lay it all out there, and we talk about everything, and I tell it like it is. And we're in a situation for this one where it's illegal. It's against the law to talk about a guy's medical records. But everybody likes to think, oh, I'm this lunatic, I'm crazy, and I just go out there and, you know, and just cut a guy because I'm mad. Give me a break. You know, Tito's fighting on Saturday night, okay? Nate knows the deal.
So there's more to this story that we as the media and fans may not ever know.
I wouldn't say there's more to the story. I think it's pretty clear. I think it's pretty clear without all the exact information being out there. I think it's pretty clear.
All right. Well, thanks for answering that, Dana. It's nice to get the record straight on that. Looking forward to a great card on Saturday at UFC 132.
Thank you.
Thanks. Keep checking Heavy.com for more fight info.